Welcome to the MMA Roadshow, episode number 361. My name is John Morgan. Cold coffee is with me here at the spacious, scintillating, throw in adjectives that mean nice, luxurious, Casa de Cold Coffee. That's bougie. I like it. I'm starting to feel at home over here, man. I like the new Casa de Cold Coffee. I might have to set up an office over here or something. So
you could take that couch right there.
I mean, you got space in here, man. I'm saying I could carve out a little office in here, and you would never even know I was here.
Until the staff told me that, Mr. Morgan is here, I wouldn't even notice.
I would like to ask the staff to kind of keep it quiet, but I could just be tucked away a little bit. It's right around the corner from my house. If I want to get out, get a little freedom, you know.
Well, you have a key.
I do have
you
a
don't
key.
have it on the key. You got to put it on your key ring.
Well,
That's the. When I asked you that day, I was like, oh, you got a key. You could just because we were leaving from the Apex,
right.
just like what it would have been today.
Exactly.
I was craving ice cream. I wanted to go get ice cream. And you were like, I don't have your key. I said, well, what's the point of giving you a key if you don't put it on your key ring?
Hold on, man. Hold on. At that point, we're in a relationship. You know what I mean? Like, I do have a key to your house for emergencies. I have a key to your house to potentially help you with your animals when you're out of town and I'm not. But I think once I put a key to your house on my key ring that I'm walking around with every day, I feel like we got to be dating at that point or something.
I see you more than you see your family most times.
That is true. That is true. Fair point. I guess we are in a relationship. All right, it's going on the key ring.
How many years? How many years in a row are we doing this? How many years?
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's about to change. We'll
talk about that.
We'll get to some personal news, but first, let's talk about legendary Duke Reposado Tequila Founders Reserve. Thank you to the fine folks at Legend Spirits for hooking us up once again. They have taken care of the MMA Roadshow all through the month of February with some fantastic beverages. And now we're a little bit more
the Founders,
which
is it's not the, like, in case you guys think this is us going back to the other tequila that we both got really, really drunk on.
That was not the extra. We still got a little bit of that extra, just a little bit of that extra añejo, not much. It is so good.
It's literally like I'm saving it for a rainy day.
I'm going to say that extra añejo is one of my favorite liquors on the planet. Not just tequilas.
I think you're
right.
I'm
talking about one of my favorite liquors on the planet right now.
I think you're right. How good we felt, and then it was so smooth and so whatever. But like
so good.
So this one is another one. So when people, when you guys are listening to this and you think this is the same as the other one, this is not.
This is Reposado Tequila, which means it's been aged 3 months. So it's been aged 3 months.
Whereas the other one was 3 years.
3 years, exactly. So a little bit different flavor here. This is more of a traditional Reposado flavor.
Yeah.
The gold tequilas is what you think of, the kind of the gold. Although not worth pointing out, I don't think many people probably drink Jose Cuervo much at this, at least not Cuervo Gold. I know that's kind of the standard.
Yeah.
But Cuervo Gold is not actually a Reposado tequila, a gold tequila. It's basically gold because of food coloring, is my understanding.
No shit.
Yeah, but they did a great job marketing the hell out of Jose Cuervo.
Yeah, they did. I had no idea.
So these Reposado tequilas, they start to get a little bit of color to them because of the oak barrels that they're in. It starts to impart some of it in it. So I'll read you a little bit about this. This is John Wayne, or Duke to his family and friends, will endure as an American legend, a dedicated craftsman, and a patriot. He spent many memorable years in Mexico filming his movies, sport fishing, and vacations with his family. The Duke had a deep admiration and respect for Mexico and its people, and he immersed himself in the culture, spending many nights sipping the finest of tequilas. Duke Reposado is distilled by hand, the old-fashioned way, in small copper pot stills from the purest agave, grown in the rich red soils in the highlands of Los Altos, Jalisco. It is carefully aged in the finest wine barrels, delicately charred. Duke Reposado commemorates and honors John Wayne's respect of Mexico, his connection to the land, and his pursuit of the perfect tequila. And
it's good.
I'll say this is a smooth tequila.
It is
a smooth tequila.
It's, like the other one reminded me, like I know some that for me, if I was walking up to a bar and they had two options of a silver and like a Reposado,
you like that raw flavor.
I like the silver. It just seems to be smoother for me. Whereas like the other one, it wasn't a silver, but it was super, super smooth. It was just unbelievable. This reminds me more of like the typical tequilas I would drink.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a smoother version of it.
That's right. It's 100% agave, and it's finished in Grand Cru French oak.
Yeah, because some of the tequilas out there, like some of the gold ones, are just not bitter. I don't know what the word is. And it's not even that it's that they're stronger. They just have a more something on the back, and when you put them in, you're just like, whoa, like you're drinking tequila. Even this one had that initial reaction, but each one subsequently after that gets
It's
easier
funny
and
how you
easier.
keep drinking them and they
And
get
it
smoother.
just goes smoother and smoother. But it's funny, you read the history about the Duke and his love of being down in Mexico and the culture, and all I can think is like, I wonder how many little mini Dukes are running around Mexico because he was enjoying the Mexican culture.
Hey, I'm just enjoying culture here. What do you want me to do?
The culture,
I'm just enjoying the culture.
You put a nice plate of some goodness in front of me, I'm gonna partake.
Well, shout out to everybody at Legend Spirits.
It's really good. This is
another
another really good one.
Tequila, obviously the official tequila of Cage Fury Fighting Championships is how the relationship was formed. But they shared with us some of the legendary Duke line.
This has
well.
definitely helped re-kick my love of tequilas.
Oh man,
again.
it's been a good month, man.
The extra deal one, holy shit! Like I don't know, tequila's just got a fun buzz. It's a really fun buzz. I don't know how good it portrays out into podcasts at the end of the night, but in terms of buzz, it is such a unique buzz. Like whereas we have this Duke bourbon sitting off here to the side. The buzz you get from this is very, very different from a tequila. I just like a tequila buzz, man. Tequila makes me want to like go to the club and like dance and have fun. That's like the dance, have fun. Whereas the bourbon's like, oh, should we put out the cigars and sit and let's talk?
I agree.
Let's talk politics and MMA.
Well, I don't know about politics, but MMA.
I know. I was like,
MMA.
for somebody, might
I do,
wanna
but
talk
there's
politics.
nothing better than a nice cigar with some good bourbon.
Oh,
man.
I'm
There's
telling
nothing
you.
better.
Well, I'm not supposed to smoke. Never mind. I'm not going to suggest that. We'd
You're
have to go out in the
looking at
backyard. I started thinking about cigars. I'm like, oh, we should. And I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm not
Okay,
supposed to
well,
smoke
we're
in
not going outside. What is going on today? It is snowing in Las Vegas.
It is some straight
Snowing.
Sharknado crazy weather here in Las Vegas. The past 2 days has been nuts. Yesterday, I think they said the gusts were up over 50 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
Or something, which, if you look at like some of the low scale like tornadoes, like that's the kind of shit that you're getting. It's nothing like the crazy hurricanes. And I know for people that deal with like major shit, these are nothing. But here in Vegas, for this to be like what they worry about in the storms that we get, like the windstorms are crazy. So I asked you if your internet went out the other day because the windstorms knocked out internet for me.
That's crazy. It was spotty, super spotty.
It was that
so
bad.
we had massive winds come in, and then the cold weather followed behind it. And, yeah, it's actually been snowing today. Of course, it's not sticking on the ground or anything
And
like
for those
that
that were just dealing with real cold, like they would laugh.
Oh,
so like
yeah, yeah.
But it did.
It
Like
did
you
snow?
just looked at the thing. It did.
I mean,
And like somebody said yesterday, I think it was on Twitter, Las Vegas locally, which take it or leave it. Some people like the site, some people don't. It was like, oh yeah, I hear that it's going to snow in the bougier parts of town or something, which is like up north, like where Dana lives and stuff, and closer to the mountains. But actually today, even walking into the UFC headquarters.
Yeah.
There's a view when you look. I guess it'd be north, south, east, west. When you're looking west towards the mountains, some of the tallest mountain ranges that you could see are just completely snow covered,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely breathtaking. It is so beautiful.
it is cool.
I just sat there looking at it for a second. And I came inside and I walked back outside to look. I was like, yes, we live out in the desert, and in the summers it can seem harsh out here. And you look up at the mountains, they look very different in the summer,
Yeah.
Even though when you look in the same sort of ranges, you could see lots of colors of the different sediments as they came through and they burst through the earth or whatever. But right now, it is absolutely breathtaking looking at the snow-covered mountains over there.
It is cool,
It's
man.
really, really cool.
I mean, obviously, here at geologyjunkie.com or whatever.
Geology Junkie, Geology Roadshow.
And Meteorology Roadshow. But no, it is kind of cool when you look out because, the weather comes in from the west and you'll see, like, the clouds kind of roll over it and then the clouds dissipate and then, like, it's snow covered. You know what I mean? It never was. So it's a pretty cool sight. If you've never seen it, it's a different side.
If we
of
saw
Las
a couple
Vegas.
snowfleks leaving the UFC today, getting in the
don't
car.
got to insult the guys. No, just kidding.
Couple softies. Damn hippie, go hug a tree, snowflake.
We did see some snow coming down, and again, like it's literally
it's a laugh for those that are actually still dealing with like real snow.
4 flakes. You know what I mean?
4 flakes in 2 square miles.
Yeah, but we did
It's
see
snowing. It's snowing. National Weather Service cancel school.
All right. Well, we did spend the day at the UFC Apex today for the media day. It's UFC Fight Night 202. Man, it's a busy weekend, man. We're not going to get into all of it. In fact, I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about everything that's going on, but there's a lot of MMA this week, man. One championship, Bellator 275, PFL Challenger Series, LFA 125, KSW 67, UFC Fight Night 202. Man,
Wow.
if you are an MMA fan, you have got plenty of choices
How do you
to look
even
at.
choose?
Do we even know if MMA Junkie is going to be broadcasting the PFL again?
We will not be.
We're not.
It was a one and
it was
done.
one and done.
Yeah, it was a one and done. I was super, super amazed by the turnout. I'm sure most people that listen to this probably watched it. I think at the peak, there were almost 3,500 concurrent viewers.
That's not bad considering it was essentially an unadvertised product.
Unadvertised. I was even unsure until like earlier in the day whether I wanted to even make it public because, in a sense, what we did, they were like, hey, all right, guys, here, we're going to push it to you. We're not even quite sure how to do this. We're going to push it to you, and then you can put it on your site or whatever. But the way that I had to do it, I had to take it into an application, and I pushed it to our YouTube. So, in a sense, I was taking it from behind a paywall and making it public. At first, I was trying to double check. I was sending all of our people, like, do they understand? I know I told them kind of what I was doing, but I don't know if they focused on the words, oh, hey, I'm taking this to our YouTube. It kind of all
came together kind of last moment.
It came super, super last moment. It was literally like, this is happening tomorrow. Can we do this? So I wanted to make sure that we could take it from behind the paywall. So I didn't know what we were going to see. So I wasn't even sure if we were going to make it public or whatever. But once it started going, the amount of people that were jumping into the channel, the amount of people that are like, I can't find this on the Fubo, or like, I'm not sure if I'm going to sign on to this program. Mm-hmm. But the turnout was incredible. So I was hoping that we'd be able to do it, but I understand the fact that
they're trying to drive it
to their site. So yeah, they ineffectively said, thank you very much. We're happy with the numbers. They were super, super stoked. In fact, I told them, I was like, I think we gained like 300 new subscribers because of it. There were a ton of viewers. There was lots and lots of interaction on the actual stream. I mean, take it or leave it when it comes to chatting on YouTube or whatever. But there was a lot of intelligent conversation happening as well. But it was, I thought, in terms of, and you guys even talked about it on the latest Spinning Back Click, there were still definitely some of the things that have been sort of the thorn in the side to the PFL as other ones when it came to the pacing and stuff. But
pacing's
in terms,
a big deal.
They of like production value,
sharp.
It's incredible.
Sharp.
It was great. I mean, it looked like I was watching a PFL show, and it was just, part of it was the anticipation, wanting how the picks were going to do, how that whole sort of thing. So there was a little bit of awkwardness waiting for that, and I think there was just awkwardness of it being the inaugural.
Dude, it's
run
show
as
number
well.
one. It's gonna have some rough spots, and I think they're gonna fix things. I think they're gonna improve. I mean, I know those guys, in that promotion are all dedicated to putting on a quality product, and they care. So you're right. Some of the stuff was a little bit rough around the edges, but I think they're gonna kind of refine it a little bit. But the pacing is the one that I think that hopefully they're saying. Hopefully this week is they're putting their run sheets together. They're like, hey, let's tighten this up. We don't need all this filler.
What did you think about the fact of one contract? I don't know if it was just because we've been spoiled in the sense of like we don't know what we're gonna get from the Contender Series.
Right.
I felt like it was like a gut punch to me. I was like, oh, fuck you. You're only going to give one contract?
Right.
I was like, why not give out more, So, but then I was really, I realized I was putting another show's format, this show is so very similar. So I can see where somebody's like, okay, well, they should have given out as many contracts. Maybe that would again gave another talking point where somebody would have been like, okay, see, or even copying it even more.
I keep joking they should call it Peter Murray's Friday Night Challenger Series. I think
but
no, listen, I will say this. What's funny is the feedback was the other way in the beginning, right? Because I remember, if you'll remember, Dana White's Contender Series, when it came out, a lot of people were like, but if they're giving away 3 or 4 contracts, there's really not as much, on the line. There's not as much, jeopardy into what's happening there. So on one hand, I do kind of like it because it's like, no, it's one guy. So that's like tension and how does it work? It's not all of you. It's not, Oprah Winfrey, you get a contract, you get a contract. It's not that. So I'm okay with that. I thought, listen, the way they eliminated the guys was a little awkward. It's like, hey, you two step forward. Like, yeah, you're out.
You're out.
You know what I mean? That was kind of bizarre.
Especially when one was the headliner.
I know. And I thought even the decision making was, I guess the thing is, like obviously a lot of us thought Silvera, Conan's son, was going to come in and get the contract. maybe the fight wasn't as spectacular as it should be. But that's when you start getting into, look, if you had a chance to get that guy under contract who looks like he's going to be something,
right?
Do you just kind of bend the rules a little bit? Like, your fight wasn't necessarily the most amazing fight we saw on the night, but we think you're going to be somebody, so maybe we should just go ahead and get you under contract right now. So
now remind me, and I'm sorry, because this is the only thing I'm still have questions on what the contract is. Is the contract admission into the tournament?
Not necessarily. They have the option. It can be, but not necessarily. It can be a developmental contract as well.
Because what we've seen with the UFC is like, it's kind of almost become this, sort of unwritten sort of thing where it's like we see a lot of people that don't get contracts to come in, but then they show up on the next show,
and that could easily happen too. And it does. And
that's why I was wondering about this, because I was like, if the contract is about admission to the tournament, you just can't. You're not going to sign a random person.
No, you wouldn't. And I am kind of interested to see what happens, right? Because like, what if Josh Silveira ends up in the PFL anyway? You know what I mean? Where they're like, well, we didn't give him a contract that night, but we knew we wanted him, so we gave him a contract anyway. Does that undermine the show a little bit? So I'm kind of interested. Look, it's still all playing out. We're watching it play out in real time, but you know me, man. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the market is saturated. I want MMA on every night of the week, man. I want opportunities for fighters, so I don't care.
Well, he's like a special
but they
one
tighten
too.
It up. He is a special.
And like we want him to do up just because we also know his father.
We're huge
Conan
homers.
Conan fans. Like I wouldn't be sad if he went over and gave Contenders a shot or something. I mean, not everybody can just play off their name and just get a contract, and it shouldn't be that way. But connections is a big thing. If you have connections, and if you are literally the seed of a very renowned and well-known fighter / coach, I mean, fuck, if he can't get an easier pass into an organization,
you would think, man.
Who the hell else gets
you would
one?
Think. Come on, there's obvious ties.
I mean, and if you watch what his performance, yes, there were moments where people were maybe thinking like, okay, it was built up to this thing, and it's not the action that we want. He still got the win. He got the finish at the very end. Did it maybe give what was needed, or what was desired from what would be the main event? Maybe not, but look at any Contender series. Do the main events in them sometimes never really amount? And it happens all the time.
Yeah.
I think anytime we just look at something, we look at that final fight, we put these sort of parameters on them that we expect them to be like the main events of a major UFC event.
Right.
And that's not what these series are. I mean, they have to pick somebody to be in that spot, and this would be they set him up to really knock it out of the park. Did he maybe knock it out of the park? No, but did he still do what he needed to do? Yes.
Is he still undefeated, able to compete in 2 weight classes, having an incredible pedigree and incredible marketing opportunity in terms of his links? I mean, it's there, so we'll see. But I do want to say one last thing I'll say about PFL Challenger Series. By the way, because I'll be honest, when we did this last week, I was like, I still got to find Fubo Sports Network, because to be honest, I didn't know.
I never found the right
Fubo. One. Yeah, well, little did I know we'd be broadcasting it at MMA Junkie, but Fubo Sports Network, you can actually just go. At least the way I found it was on my phone, and you can go to Fubo Sports Network. That URL right there, and that streams free. Now, here's the thing: if you start looking into Fubo is like an entire service, right?
Like it's Sling.
It's like Sling, YouTube TV. So if you look at it, and I think this probably, I think honestly, and I don't know if this was purposeful on their part or it was an accident. I think a lot of people probably didn't watch it because everything you see, it looks like you need to sign up for this service that they say, hey, it's a free trial, but it's going to be $68 a month or $65 a month, whatever. And I know everybody looks at that and goes, I ain't got an extra $65.
I was under that impression.
To be honest, I was too, and I kept looking.
So was like the 3,500 people on the site that were watching it.
But you can actually go to FuboSportsNetwork.com, and it streams free on there. So then you can.
I can't fault them for what they're doing. I mean, like, they did it the right way. If they just said, hey, guys, we want you to subscribe, but, oh, hey, by the way, this series you can watch for free.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to fucking...
No.
No one's going to sign up.
I do feel like they were a little bit vague on purpose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you accidentally... Hey, we didn't tell you had to sign up.
Yeah.
You didn't read the fine print right there, but you don't have to.
It's probably the same. The UFC is like, oh, hey, yeah, go buy the UFC Fight Pass. Oh, but by the way, every once in a while, we're going to throw all this shit up for free on YouTube. But you can still sign up.
But you can sign up.
Well, if people are still ever wondering if Fight Pass is worth it, I feel like that's such an old, silly conversation because we've gotten so much value out of Fight Pass at this point. Like for me, I'm like, it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
But I don't know. Maybe some people are still on the fence about it.
And ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus is another one.
ESPN Plus is another one. You got to have ESPN Plus at this point.
Ridiculous. I have all the pluses. I even fucking re-signed back up for like Paramount Plus. I added another streaming.
I have Paramount Plus just to watch U.S. soccer.
Because it gave me there was a Paramount Plus Showtime
combo deal,
which ended up saving me $1 because I was getting. I mean,
if you're saving $1,
it was like you could get Showtime on your. I was already paying $10.99, and then it was like, oh, well, you can get Paramount Plus for $4.99, or you can get Paramount Plus and Showtime for $14.99. I was like, oh my goodness, that saves me $1. I was like, yeah, of course, let's do that because then I'm only adding $3.99 on my.
I'm spending $13 a month, but I'm saving $1.
It's so ridiculous.
Oh man,
you cut the cord, and that's the whole joke. The weird. You cut the cord, which was just raping you on like the cost, and it's
strong
like
words there.
Well, that's what I feel like it. Actually, Cox Cable, the cost of the internet. What I'm paying right now.
You're getting raped by Cox.
Giggity, and I'm not enjoying it at all.
That's
I'm not
enjoying it. Tequila buzz right there.
Like literally, I was getting fiber internet at my old school place that was in the fucking hood. Whatever, $65 a month. I'm paying I'm paying the same shit you are.
Yeah,
$160 for the internet, and then
it's not as fast as what you have, but you need the unlimited. That's what's funny. So when I signed up for the fastest internet,
do you check your bandwidth?
I don't.
Do you check your usage?
But the only reason I went to unlimited is because once I switched to full streaming, like the first month, it was like, we're gonna have to like.
Did you go over? Did you check your usage?
Yeah.
See, I check my usage, and I haven't went over yet.
Bro, you got to remember. I got a wife and kid at home that are
you got a kid that
constantly
loves
streaming.
his
they're streaming
Fortnite.
Wife's watching Netflix nonstop. Kids playing a little Fortnite or streaming whatever.
I thought with the data storage that we have in here, with us using the QNAP or whatever our storage, I thought it would put me over. I think the most so far this month, I think I'm at like maybe 600 or 700 gigs. You get a terabyte.
By the way, the Tech Talk Roadshow. We want to thank all the fans of the Tech Talk Roadshow.
This is Bandwidth Roadshow.
This is solid. What Kokabi is referring to over there is he basically has a server that stores as like the main storage hub of all
like the repository. Besides like
MMA
what you have,
footage. Yeah.
Both me and Morgan both have a ton of fucking hard drives of shit that we've shot over the years, and some of the other shooters have the same thing. Abby has externals. A lot of the guys on the road, but we do the bulk of the shooting. But at one point, the USA Today was like, okay, we're getting these QNAPs, these large storage, RAID storage things. So it's like I had roughly 50 terabytes of storage. I immediately was like, well, I could take all my old hard drives, but that would have took up like a huge chunk of it. So I was like, okay, well, we'll just take it from here, going forward, do stuff. So I still got still got a box of old hard drives too that I keep as well, and I know you got it as well. But the storage.
Do I? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe I have to take those from you. Maybe I have to take those from you.
I don't know if I do. I'll have to look.
So I thought by having that in here, that the bandwidth pushing things on there would cause a load, and I still haven't reached over. So I'm like, why am I paying the extra $50 a month?
It's crazy
for the unlimited. But I know that if I decide to say, okay, I need to get rid of that, that'd be the month that you go over it or something.
Yeah.
But whatever. But to think that I'm spending $160 on fucking internet is ridiculous. But we joke. We started initially talking about how we cut the cable. I'm spending more on all the a la carte streaming shit than I ever did
100%.
On the other one. But honestly, I love it, man.
I don't care.
You're right. The fact that I can turn on my TV and put on the Roku, and I'm like, oh, Paramount Plus. Oh yeah, I got that. Showtime. Oh yeah, I got that. HBO Max of that show. Oh yeah, I got that. Oh, you want that? Oh, you want that Hulu? Oh yeah, I got that too. ESPN. Yeah, I got that too. Sling. I got that.
I feel like I need to quit my job just to watch TV all the time. I
definitely don't get the need out. It's nice having it, but I'm like, I always tell myself, I'm like, when are you using it? I signed up for fucking audiobooks the other day, Audible.
What?
And I'm trying to find the time to listen. I tried the other day when I was working. I was like, "Oh, this is the perfect time when you're trying to edit. Put that audiobook on, where it's a story of like this guy's fighting like demons and other shit." I'm like, I haven't heard anything that he said. It's been playing for 30 minutes behind me. I was like, I don't think I'm doing this right. So I was like, okay, maybe when you try to do it when I'm working out. I'm like, well, I guess I need to work out more because the book hasn't advanced itself,
It's amazing. All right, well,
I know.
Listen, we thank everybody that's a big fan of Meteorology Roadshow,
Geology Roadshow,
Tech Talk Roadshow,
Tech Talk Roadshow, Audiobook Roadshow.
We appreciate that. We also do talk about MMA from time to time. UFC Fight Night 202. Listen,
Tequila Roadshow.
Tequila Roadshow doing good. Listen, not gonna come to you and say that this is the deepest card of all time, but listen.
I like how you said come to me and you're talking about deep.
What? Tequila going strong. The Duke just laying pipe. Islam Makhachev and Bobby Green in a catchweight bout.
Bambinos everywhere.
160 pounds. Listen, man, I'll be honest. I picked Islam going into this fight.
Yeah.
I mean, the odds are insanely in Islam's favor, and understandably so.
What good mood was he in today? I thought he was chipper.
Islam is great. Oh, Islam is great, man.
I thought today he smiled a couple of times. I was like, whoa.
Islam is starting to get more comfortable in speaking English. I think that he has some of the greatest low-key shade in the game. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of like the Habib-esque, where it's just like...
Which he did walk into the headquarters today. I was trying to wave over and like, hey, Habib, come in here. And he was like, no.
It was, I know, right? It was so funny. He came in and we were like, we do get to talk to the coaches like we do all the time, right? We'll talk to the corner as well. But no, listen, here's the thing is I am intrigued by this fight. I do think that, look, most of it is, does Bobby Green have a way to win? Yes, he has a way to win. Do I favor him to win? No, this is an incredibly tough assignment. Yeah. But it's kind of what we like about Bobby Green, right? He doesn't care. He's like, dude, I'm coming in. I'm going to entertain. I'm going to do what I do. I want to get paid. I got 3 baby mamas to take care of. I'm doing that. But I will say, look, I'm picking Islam. I feel comfortable in Islam. I'm not ruling Bobby Green out entirely. Bobby Green does. Look, he's got wrestling skills, so he's going to need a hell of a great defense. He's going to have to sprawl and brawl his ass out, and he does have slick box. His striking is way better than Islam's, no question about that. It's just still a tough assignment.
Yeah,
so I'm intrigued about watching it.
Islam didn't really seem too high at one point when you were talking about what he thought about Bobby. I felt like he almost said one thing and then backtracked a little bit. I didn't really feel like he gave too much credit to Bobby's wrestling skills. But then he said something about him being good about grappling or something.
Low-key shade. Again, here's the Islam low-key shade. He said, nah, man, he's like, first of all, he's got great heart. Like, I have to respect him. He took this fight on week's notice. He's got great heart. He's like, he's got great boxing, good boxing style. He's like, wrestling and grappling? We find out.
I love the fact that he was like, oh, yeah, we're going to do some talking. I'm going to talk to him. And I was just like, whoa.
That was great. So I was asking him, do you expect that Bobby Green conversation? And I started to be like, because there's kind of a language barrier, so maybe it won't matter. But I was just throw it out there. The Bobby Green trash talk, what do you expect? And he's like, no, I'm going to be talking. He's like, he's going to be talking when we're on the feet. And he's like, and after I take him down, I'm going to be talking. I'm going to be saying, come on. Get up, let's go. And I don't know. It's like I said, low key trash talk. I like it a lot.
It's such a tough fight because one, you like both guys, but Bobby, I give him all the credit in the world. I didn't know what to expect when he came in today. Like, part of me was thinking, like, because we just did the spinning back click and our title on the site and stuff was like, is this a mistake? Is this short notice turnaround? Is this the right decision for his career ultimately? And I didn't know what to expect coming in, but he came in there as jovial, as happy as can be. This is he did what, and I love part of his conversation that his first thought when he got the call was like, I know other people got this call. Where are all these other people that jumped up?
True.
Like, nobody took this call.
I know the dude that's not ranked and fought 2 weeks ago is not the dude they called first.
They didn't call first, but he's the guy that answered the call, and he's the guy that stepped up. So just like what Islam said, you got to give him all the credit in the world for stepping up and doing his thing. And it just resonated, the whole thing about Bobby was like, yeah, you got these guys that are going out and getting these title shots. They're going out and doing this thing, and yes, you maybe get this $1 million title shot. He's like, I'm not getting these title shots, but I got my $1 million already. Yep. I already did this and that, and it's from doing stuff like this. And I'm sure the UFC reward him. Do I think that the UFC only just said, "Oh, hey, I know you're already on contract. We can consider this your fight. We're going to give you your same money." Do I think that they probably bumped him a little, gave him a little discretionary something?
Sure they did.
I would think that they had to have given him something.
You're
extra.
stepping up on short notice against the dude that everybody
saving
knows,
the fight,
saving the fight against the dude that everybody knows what Islam is, man. He's the boogeyman. Nobody wants to fight him because look, and Bob even said it. Like, look. Bobby wants to be exciting. He wants to be entertaining. I'm sorry. Even if you put up a good fight against Islam Makhachev, you're not going to be exciting or entertaining. You're going to be showing a hell of a lot of defensive wrestling.
How exciting is it to get just pummeled and just being manhandled?
Like, I literally just sprawled 72 times over the course of 5
rounds.
Bro,
you look good at it, though.
It was amazing.
You look good.
Yeah, I mean, dude. I was able to stay upright against the fence. You know what I mean? I was pummeling so hard. And now, dude, did you see the way I continued to get underhooks so that I could stay upright?
You know
what I mean? Like, you're not going to look good. And so for him to step up, I would imagine that they were like, hey, well, can we throw a little check?
If they didn't, fucking shame on you. I mean, like, honestly, if they just could have grabbed random Vegas person here in town to do it, Bobby Green, Bobby Green, has a name and just his swagger.
Can you imagine Islam Makhachev versus UFC newcomer at 6-2 or something?
Yeah,
like,
right.
What? No.
I mean, I love the. I mean, and like we said, and this comes up time and time again. Like, what's in it for these guys that are so close to the top? I mean, like, this is in a sense dangerous for Islam because if he does lose to Bobby, he loses some shine, but he's also losing to a guy that's got some great, credit to his name. He's went out there and he had a great fight recently. But this is one of those fights that can be dangerous, but you saw none of that, and you heard none of that in today's conversation with him at all.
See, Bobby Green, you talked about, we had a segment last week on the Spinning Back where we talked about, is this a mistake? And basically we all kind of said for the most part, like, no, not really. You know what I mean? Like, this is the chances you take, and there's huge upside, and there's not a lot of downside.
I like you said last week, and it was like literally it was yesterday, or 2 days ago.
It's been a long week, bro. There's been a lot going on.
There's
been a lot of things happening. Yes, you're right. It was 2 days ago.
I like how you're like, this was so long ago.
It only came out yesterday. We taped it 2 days ago. But there has been a lot that has happened between then and now, so it feels like it was a long time ago.
Duke that done saddled up.
Duke is happening. But no, I kind of had this thought afterwards. And I didn't really. I mean, we all kind of decided that yes, it's a chance we're taking. But it kind of occurred to me after we finished taping, and I don't really offer my opinion much. I just usually give a little post log or whatever. But like, there's two ways of managing your career. Like, if it's important to you to win the title, you have to be careful about the things that you take. You have to guide your career a certain way and take the right opportunity and don't take the wrong opportunity. You got to also. But as Bobby has said over and over, like, I don't care about the title. Just keep the money coming. If I get there, I do. If I don't, I'm happy with who I am. And I think that gives you a lot of freedom to take chances.
Which is
like
crazy
because
if he win this would actually trigger him way in that way.
Way up there, dude. Now all of a sudden you're like,
win-win for him.
Maybe he faces the loser of Gaethje Oliveira or something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you talking about some huge fights, Chandler, whatever. So you're right. I mean, but I think that gives him a freedom. The fact that he's not worried about it, because I will say that, like, if I was guiding a fighter's career, if I was managing them, and they were like, John, man, I got to be UFC champion before I call it quits, then we have to be very careful about the opportunities we take. We don't take short notice fights. We don't, you know what I mean? We do this. We only fight up in the rankings. We don't fight down. We do, you got to very stay. But if you're like, John, man, just help me be in the good graces of the UFC. Help me get big paychecks.
Keep me busy,
bro. All right, hey, they want you to fight the number one contender. Because if Bobby Green loses, it's not as all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, I don't want to see the next Bobby Green fight. You're like, that dude stepped up on 2 weeks' notice against the boogeyman, and he lost, but who cares?
I mean, he's on track right now. If he keeps – there's no way he keeps this pace, but he's setting himself up. He could be the most active fighter in the UFC this year. I mean, just the fact that he's already getting another fight already. I mean, we're in February, and he's – 2
fights already.
2 fights already. Like, that's awesome. I mean, like, this is the cat that just wants to keep fighting. And I think Bobby understands, like, well, I mean, it's not that Bobby doesn't have title aspirations or whatever. Bobby's aspiration is to stay busy, to keep challenging himself, have fun, get out there, keep growing his brand. But he's just...
Plus, the more you keep him fighting, the less opportunity he has to have more kids. You know what I mean?
If he's too sore to have more babies. He's like, maybe I could make another baby. I'm really sore or whatever. But no, good on him. I mean, I think that's what resonates and what people love about Bobby. He's not coming out in one sense saying like, guys, I'm just gonna be the future champion. Everybody's gonna, have their kids named after me because they're gonna see all my title defenses. He's like, I'm just going out and being me. I'm doing me. I'm doing my things. I'm providing for my kids. His kids see a father that's fun, jovial, going out and doing what he needs to do, and for him, that's enough. I mean, like, and I love it about him. And he's taking so much of all that extra bullshit stress off of him. Would he love to be the champ? Of course he would, but. There's no downside to how he's portraying his career right now, because especially the UFC. One, he's saving this fucking card, because when you look down this line, the funny thing when we were talking about the media day today, how many English speakers did we have today?
Not many. And dude, it was funny because I actually noticed that last week when they put up the card for here's the main card for next week. I was in my head, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, media day is going to be a mess. Like it's just, and again, and I'm not being rude. Like, oh, these people don't speak English. What's wrong with them? I'm just saying, when you're looking at like marketing and when you're looking at interest, people want to see people speaking English. You know what I mean? And it's especially our audience. I mean, we're a largely North American audience. So it was just it's there's not a lot of and let me say this, by the way, and I think it's a little bit of a shame because let me say this: Armin Petrosyan versus Gregory Rodriguez should be fireworks. Should be fireworks. Armin Tsarukyan versus Joel Alvarez. That to me, I might be as excited about that fight as any on the card. In fact, I wouldn't even say I'm as excited about that fight as any on the card. I am like, it's not maybe. I am. That to me, like, when they announced Armin Tsarukyan versus Joel Alvarez, I was one excited, but
Is
two.
it
Joel Alvarez. I mean, if you got to ask Danny Segura, he'll lay it out there for you. Joel Alvarez. But no, it's it's a fight that I'll be honest with you. I feel like this could have taken place a year from now, 2 years from now, 3, because I think these guys are on their way up. You know what I mean? And so I was a little bit surprised they put this matchup together. Now, Alvarez, of course, has a little bit of problems. He's missed weight twice in a row. If he misses weight a third time, he says, no, it's all professional. We've dedicated. We're not going to. You miss weight 3 times in a row, like that's career suicide type stuff, or you got to move up to welterweight.
Yeah, but looking at the record, just to interrupt, like Joel Alvarez 19-2, Armin Tsarukyan 17-2.
Come on, man,
that's ridiculous.
And I will say, maybe
ridiculous.
Maybe some people won't like it as much because it's two grappling heavy guys, but I'm a fan of grappling, man. I like grappling, so
I guarantee anybody that's listening to this is not one of those people that's like, oh my God, I can't believe 2 studs that are good at grappling wanted to grapple.
What they doing there on the ground, man? Get them up. What they doing over there?
Did you happen to recently get your nuts caught on a screwdriver by chance?
That is definitely nobody listening to this show right now. You're absolutely right.
I've never heard
Get
that
accent before. Get them boys up off the ground. We striking. We supposed to be striking.
Who are you, sir? When did you show? Where did you come from?
Duke is in me. All right.
I don't know if I've ever. We've been doing this how fucking long? I don't know if I've ever heard that accent come out of your mouth before.
Definitely not. Things are changing.
That's right.
Armin Tsarukyan versus Joel Alvarez. I'm extremely excited about that. I will say, even
do it again.
Get them boys up off the ground. What they doing down there? This is a fight, man.
What the fuck? That's so bad, but it's awesome.
I don't know.
That was good. I like it.
Ji Young Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira.
Save that shit for Patreon. John does accents.
Get on
for $5.99 a month. You can tune in to John's accents.
I don't have to worry about losing my job anymore. I can do whatever I want to do. Ji Young Kim versus Priscilla Cachoeira. Listen, this is two females that like to come out and stand and bang. So I think that should be an exciting fight. Ji Young Kim, if you aren't familiar with her body of work, she is a very exciting fighter. But if you aren't familiar with her body of work and you just want to endear yourself to a fighter, just go watch her Media Day Scrum on the MMA Junkie YouTube page. It's hilarious. Like, she sits down and she's just giggling nonstop. Like, she can't stop giggling.
Adorable.
And I'm like, what is going on? Like, what's that? She's like, I'm just nervous. And it was funny because she was like, I'm just nervous. There's so many like media here. And for the record, There were 6 of us.
My camera sits very tall,
Yeah.
and then there's the camera in the back. There was the audio board.
There were 6 of us.
6 of us.
2 of us worked in the same place.
She was adorable, though. I mean, I couldn't. Everybody would just start giggling. She has an incredible personality, but I mean, it's funny because you see that, and then you look at some of the past fights that she's had. There was a decision loss with Molly McCann, the tough decision loss to Alexa Grasso. I mean, like, she fought Shevchenko. I mean, she fights tough people. I mean, her heart is just incredible. So to see her just sort of just be so not vulnerable is not the right word, but she was just adorable.
Yeah.
But it was so fun. Go to our streaming archive because I clipped off some of the excess, giggling at the beginning.
Did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I took a little bit of the giggling, but there was a lot of it.
It was a lot of it.
It was just, but it was funny. I mean, she came in and was just to the point. She was pointing at the screen. She was so taken. There's something about that, I'm not going to go on a long tangent, but whatever. When you see these fighters that have lots and lots of experience, but then they show up for these media day, which for us, we're like, there's not a lot of media here. For her, in her mind, there was a lot of media. She looks off of the right, and if you were a fighter, there's these multiple screens that are in the room that we're at. There's one off to the side that would be the fighter as they're looking forward to the media. If they look to the right, and if you watch the stream, you'll see her point off to the upright. She looks like she's Babe Ruth calling her shot. She's actually pointing. She's seeing herself to the right, and then there's one in the back side of the room. A lot of these fighters see that, and it happens over and over and over. They walk in, they see themselves, and then there's this moment where they have this realization where the event feels big or bigger for them, and we saw that today. So in her mind, it was huge. But there's just something so cool about being present in that moment, seeing these fighters that if this event was, and if there was no COVID and everything going on, this could be an event that could have 20,000 people, and and they could. If they wanted to, could come in there with all the ego and attitude and bravado of someone that's like, yeah, man, I'm playing this big fight card, and there's going to be thousands upon thousands of people that are paying money to watch me. But then they come into this room and they allow themselves to be just sort of taken back by whatever's there, and they're just so honest and open with their reaction that it's so fantastic to see.
It is.
So when she came in and was pointing off to the side, there was something that it made it funner to see it because it brought more, not childlike, just excitement to it.
It's just so genuine.
It was so genuine. I guess that's a better word.
Like cracking up, like she's just literally like, just
so amazing. And I think that's different too, depending on the cultures and depending where you're from. Where some of the South Koreans, they're not going to be throwing out a lot of stuff. They're always very reserved. So when they see something like that, for her, she probably thought this was like, she might have been on the Macy's Day Parade or something. It was like, here I am seeing myself on the TV. But it was so cool. And I think everybody, as we finished and she left the room, everybody was just like, I love her. She's adorable.
Everybody did. Everybody was like, that was amazing.
It was so cool.
And
it was so cool to see.
It's going to be a good fight. I think it's going to be a really good fight.
Yeah.
The co-main event, Misha Serkinov versus Wellington Turner. Misha Serkinov, little.
Did he show up today?
Little confusion in
was
the
he
schedule.
There?
No, he's in the co-main event, and he didn't show up today. And it was funny because we were like, it was like 2 hours after he was scheduled. We were like, is something going on? And they're like, yeah, we just can't get a hold of him.
He took that liberal when we always say, well, times and appearance may subject to change. He took that very liberally.
So funny. So we didn't even get to talk to the co-main event fighter. Wellington Turner was there with Glover Teixeira as his translator, which is hilarious.
We should just threw Glover up there. Glover's so... how can you not love that dude?
Amazing.
I mean, even back when I worked for the UFC, when he was still just trying to do his thing, I remember he was at one point he was like, I'm going to go work out on the beach. I was like, can I follow and shoot it? Can I do whatever? And he was so gracious. He was like, yeah. And he did whatever he wanted. And this was like years and years ago. And I had no idea, eventually of how big he actually was in that area. All the people that would come up and watching or whatever. But it just shows, like, even today, like, this is a guy that could be a champ. He could be like, don't want to be your translator. Like, UFC, hire a translator. They could have had a meeting, but he was more than happy to sit down and be the translator. I'm translating
for my guy.
Even when Diego, the Brazilian media guy, starts asking his question, I could see there was a moment where Glover was like, do I need to translate this back to English? And he would have. If we would have been like, can you translate what he did? He would have kept doing it. But the fact that he was like, Nobody, it's cool. It's cool. I can stop. And he was like, okay, cool. I'll just relax. And I was like,
he's the best.
I fucking love this dude.
We've told the story before. I mean, so if you've been listening to the show for a long time, you've heard it. So I won't, make it a long story. But the thing that always sticks out to me about Glover is that community project where he was planting trees, and it's just like, it was a community project in Brazil where basically they were doing like a carbon offset type thing. Like, yes, we know that we're bringing an impact by, the fact that we're flying people in, and but we're going to make it carbon neutral by the fact that we're planting all these trees and stuff. And Glover was kind of the face of this day, but like, he didn't just go out there and be like, I'm a UFC fighter and wave my hand, like, yes, we're doing this, and, cut a ribbon or whatever. Like, he's literally out there, like, planting the trees on his hands and knees, planting the trees, shoveling, doing, and not like the just, I toss it.
Not like a ribbon cutting.
Yeah, like
ceremony.
a ribbon cutting where you're like, you put the shovel in the dirt.
One thing of dirt.
No, this dude is like digging holes, packing it
getting
in,
sweaty, getting
watering
nasty,
it, sweating it, and it was funny. And he was like, I remember talking to him, and he's like, he kind of enjoys it. Like, he was like, I was a landscaper for years.
I was gonna say that's what he used to do. Right?
He was like, I had to do this to pay my bills. And he's like, I still have kind of a passion for it. And so I'm like, he's
so cool, man. He's so cool. And it's funny, like, and it just makes me think of, like, we saw Jim Miller the week past. We are so lucky in the sense of, obviously what we do, and the people that listen to this, they understand. I mean, we're so lucky in the fact of, one, being able to do this job as a career, but let alone have access and find these people that are just so spectacular in their own particular way. One, are they able to forget fear, forget the thing that most of us as human beings don't want to face, and get in a ring and fight fear for a sport, and fight whatever. But they're also fantastic individuals. There's a lot of them that are just fantastic human beings on the same sense. And I just feel like recently, and maybe it's just the fact that we saw Jim Miller last week, who I have the utmost respect of what he's been able to do. And I mean, dude's a future Hall of Famer. I don't know if we say it enough.
It has to.
When we talk about this dude.
I'll say this, and not to interrupt your train of thought, but one of the topics that was proposed for last week's Spinning Back Click was, is Jim Miller a Hall of Famer? And
really?
I
wondered why we didn't talk about Jim Miller. I was going to say something, but I felt like...
To be honest with you, I elected not to use that topic because you're fucking right, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, I don't want to hear... And you know what? I don't want to hear anybody argue otherwise because I'll lose respect for you.
Well, I'm glad that well, that's good, because I'm glad that we did, because, honestly, when I looked at the things, I almost... Because, you always give me shit that I don't, like, jump in to, like, say, when I see the things, why are you guys doing this or this? So I didn't say anything. But when I saw the things and we got to our last topic, which I forget what it even was, fuck it doesn't matter. But I was like, man, why did we not talk about Jim Miller? So in a sense, I'm glad that there was discussion possibly about Jim Miller.
Why. And I apologize if I derailed your stream of thought earlier, but
no,
I wanted, because I was like, I'm not debating this topic. This is not a debate topic.
Yeah.
He is a Hall of Famer. It would literally be like me bringing up a topic and just be like, and he is. Next topic.
And that's the kind of thing. I mean, like, when I was talking with him, I was like, I'm not the smartest person when it comes to, like, what it takes to get into the Hall of Fame, what things are there. But when we were talking with him, and I loved it, Amy Kaplan always gives me grief. She's like, you find a way to make fighters cry or whatever. And not that that's a goal, but one of the things when we were talking to Jim, and he was like, when it came down to respect of his peers, that was the moment where Jim, who's been in fucking a bazillion fights, he's aiming for the next 6 fights or whatever so he can get to UFC 300. The thing that started wavering him a little bit was the fact that he's getting respect from his peers, because earlier in the night, Joaquin Buckley came in, and at the time Jim Miller was out there fighting, was doing his thing or whatever, and he was like, man, did you see Jim Miller out there? And he was giving all the props.
That's awesome.
And I said, what does that mean to you to hear these upcoming studs, the guys that eventually are potential champs, potential guys at the top of the thing, giving you the props? And he was like, man, you're going to make me cry, like, this is the dude that, and so when I talked with him, and I was like, should that be something that, is there a way that fighters should maybe have a better play to be able to help vote their peers
like
into the Hall of Fame.
Veterans Committee or whatever,
like a Veterans Committee or something. Like, I mean,
that's an interesting. It's a great.
I mean,
question.
It should be something. I mean, like, if there's anybody that could vote somebody in, like, why should it be like just on the UFC or be on the media or be whatever? Like, if there's anybody that matters, it should be the people that do the work out there.
I mean, think about like, dude, and you could set the bar high. I think if it was like a 30 fight threshold, I mean, that's high. But you had guys like Cerrone, Miller, Arlovsky, guys like that weighing in on whether somebody is a. I mean, those guys know
like
the sport.
Legit dudes
guys,
that know it.
Maybe it's a little lower. Maybe you go down to 25. I mean, 30's a lot.
But 25 or 30 sounds when you see some of these guys come, like, that almost sounds like an impossible number. But some have been able to do it. Even in our time of covering the sport, how many people does it feel like you've seen come in and they do 3 or 4 fights and then they're gone? And sometimes 3 or 4 sounds like a lot of them never even make it, because that's just because the UFC signs them on to initial maybe 3 or 4 fights.
You know what's funny is, man, I remember Stefan Struve coming in. He was like 22 or something when he came in. And I remember him saying like his goal was 50 UFC fights. And I was like, well, you're a heavyweight, so that's heavyweight's like, it's not the deepest division. It's
you could take some damage.
You can stay around for longer. Yeah. Normally we see the heavyweights go longer and that sort of thing. And I'm like, you're starting so young. And this was a time, too, when the UFC was starting to ramp up their schedule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like before there were 10 events a year or whatever. That's pretty tough. If there's 40 events a year, now you got more opportunities. But yet still,
How many events did we have last year?
I think 42 maybe or 40.
And that's not but that's not counting like Contender Series.
Yeah, not counting Contender Series. But dude, like, so like, it was funny because I remember thinking like 50. I'm like, 50 is not impossible. But your body has to – it's not impossible in terms of years and in terms of scheduling. It's not impossible. But in terms of your body holding up, and you got to not go on a 3, 4, 5 fight losing streak. You know what I mean? Right. You got to get rid of – so it's really hard.
That's what was so impressive about Roxy. When Roxy went on – what did she go on, 50 fights?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's just so impressive that they're able to do this sort of thing. I mean – it's easy for most of us in our career, like, I did 50 weeks of work, no problem, but like what they're able to do is just fantastic. So, and I don't know, talking about Jim, talking about Glover, whatever, it just makes you nostalgic. It just makes you appreciative of some of these characters that we're able to run across. That is just so fantastic. And so, I mean, I think if it wasn't for people like them, I wonder how many people would stick with the sport. Like, I mean, all this love when we watch a UFC pay-per-view when the card's great. But if you weren't hooked on some character, or if you weren't hooked on a fighter's story, would we all still be here? I mean, us, it's a little bit different for us as we're paying the work. But as for watching it, would we really buy into it this long?
This is what I've always said. It's like, look, the sport of MMA is great. Like, I can watch 2 people I don't know have a fight.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, pretty impressed by it, or I'm pretty entertained by it. But when you know what's on the line, what it means, who these people are, you know what I mean? That's what brings you in. You know what I mean? That's what brings you in. Like, when you have an attachment to that person, you know what they're doing, and you know what it means to them, and you know what's like, that means a lot. And so, no, man, you have to have that tie to them, or I don't think we would. So,
you know what's funny? It's so awkward. Like, I can see 2 people have like an argument or like an embarrassing thing, and I get so embarrassed for them that I can't watch it. But I have no problem watching 2 people literally get half naked and beat the fuck out of each other and get bloody. But I'll watch 2 people have an argument and I get so uncomfortable for both of them, and I feel bad that I can't watch it.
It's so funny.
How weird is that?
It's bizarre.
You would think I'd be like, oh man, just fucking take clothes off and get fucking throw hands. But I'm like,
I'm cutting that for future use, just to let you know. But
how ridiculous is that? I watch TV shows, some reality TV sometimes, and I'm like, I get so embarrassed I can't watch it, but I can watch people crack foreheads open, and then I'm just like, yeah.
It's nuts.
How ridiculous. I don't advocate for the breaking of legs. I can't watch that shit, though.
Ooh.
There's nothing worse than a slow-mo replay of like an Anderson Silva breaking his leg, or somebody like,
bro.
How fucking terrible was that to watch that shit?
The Anderson one will always stick with me, and hearing him scream in pain.
I was in the back watching him wheel him out into the ambulance, and like, I'll never forget that for the rest of my life.
Hearing him scream in pain will always resonate with me, because you're like, dude, and people might not understand now, like if you're a newer fan, like what a badass he was. You know what I mean? Like now you're like, I saw this old guy that lost some fights and whatever. No, that dude was a killer, and to hear him scream like that was brutal. And then, obviously the flip side of that, Weidman's recently, like
so ridiculous.
from press row, from my seat in press row, like I could see the bone sticking through his leg. And I was just like, anyway. All right, listen. Rest of the prelims. I will say this again. I'm not going to try to pitch you that this is the deepest card ever and don't miss anything.
Sell me on it, Mr. Morgan.
But I will say this. There's a lot of MMA to watch this weekend. I will say this. Ron Zhu versus Ignacio Bahamondes. That could be a very entertaining fight. Terrence McKinney versus Faris Ziam. That could be a very entertaining fight. Alejandro Perez versus Jonathan Martinez. I think that's going to be a banger.
They love you. Jonathan Martinez loves you.
I love Jonathan Martinez, dude, because that dude just like is. I love the fact that
he's so smiley.
This human being will go fight in a cage, but won't order dinner at a restaurant because he's too shy to talk to the server.
Have we hooked him up with Hannah Cipher yet? Have they become a couple yet?
Oh my God, they should totally hang out together. It
would be the most quiet date night, but they could have the cutest babies.
Literally, they just sit there and don't talk. They don't say a word.
Should we fuck now?
It would be like.
I love them both.
It's like, oh no, they're the greatest. It'd be like a fifth grade dance or something.
Somebody has to stand. Just walk over and make him stand up.
No,
hold their hands.
No. I love those guys. So listen, I think it's gonna be an entertaining card. But again, a lot of MMA to pick from. All right, so listen, I guess what we should do at this point is talk.
Oh, are you ready? Should we?
I need to pee.
All right. Well, should we play audio then, or should I just put audio of you peeing?
No, we just cut.
I feel like you got news. There's news coming. So, well, how about this? Pick. Maybe then pick it. Let's pick it. Let's just.
Bobby Green.
I was totally.
Gotta go Bobby Green, right? All right. I don't like to just go take a pee break, but yeah,
it's better than peeing on my floor.
I shouldn't be.
You got news coming.
Yes, I got news coming. And as I say it, I don't want to be distracted by the fact that I need to go to the bathroom. So, I mean, and not that I wouldn't play Bobby Green otherwise. I mean, Bobby Green's, but I have heard people say, "Hey, man, normally by the time you play it, I've already heard it." But so yeah. So that's why I kind of like sometimes play less audio, that sort of thing. But here's Bobby Green.
Let's get on. Well, you said it, another day at the office. I feel like we just saw you 2 weeks ago, man. What's this experience like for you? This stepping into this big fight on short notice.
It's been fucking nuts. I think I did like 25 interviews, and this lady said, "Stop being good at them." People keep asking for me to talk. I guess I should just give you guys bad interviews, and then you won't want to talk to me.
I don't think that's possible, man. I don't think that's possible. Are you enjoying this so? I mean, like you said, I know it's a lot of interviews, but man, I think back to Houston, like the love the crowd was giving. I feel like there's never been more support for you than there is right now. I mean, are you feeling this and enjoying this ride right now?
You know me, I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. It's kind of like Tupac said, like, I've been around at these shows and I'll be next to somebody and be like, "Oh, that's whoop de whoop," and that's whoop de whoop, and I'm telling my coach, "Oh yeah, that's the whoop de whoop," and they'll see me, and all of a sudden now they're like, "Hey, can we get a picture? Hey, good shit," I'm like, I've been doing this since the beginning, like we really like what you're saying. I'm like, I've been saying this from the beginning. This has always just been my same intentions, is to inspire, motivate, get people on their feet. I'm just doing the same things I always did. You guys just found out. So it's a little bit interesting. Like, it's confusing. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to deal with this shit.
Well, talk about how this all came together, man. I mean, obviously, he said he wanted a top 10 opponent. Nobody in the top 10 was stepping up. So how did you, did you put your hand in the air? Did they call you? How did this all come together?
My manager called me. He's like, "Hey, Islam needs a fight." And once he said that, I was already like 195 pounds. And I'm like, "You want me to get to 55 in 10 days? This is nuts." I'm like, "Oh, man." And I just got in a fight. Like, I still got some of the scars and stuff from the last one, I was supposed to get my girl surgery. She's supposed to get surgery the next day. So we were kind of prepping that night for her to have surgery the next day. And the call comes in. And I'm going, I know a lot of people got the call before me. I'm like, where are those guys at, you know? Why they didn't step up, you know? Because to be honest, I just got off. Y'all just let me get out of the cage, and you're going to throw me back in again? I guess you guys are being little bitches, you know? Well, fuck it. I'll do it. Let me show you how I do this shit, you know? Snatch that shit, and I'll go in, you know? Give me paid, and I'll do it.
Amazing. So, everybody's got him kind of proclaimed as being the next champion or a title contender. I mean, when you look at him, is he that good? I mean, is this championship material that you see?
Islam, is he championship material? I know that he's been really downplaying me, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. He's a good opponent. I think he's been on this win streak. You know, he is championship material according to wins. You know, if we're gonna talk about just wins, but I feel like when it comes to this MMA stuff, it's what product you're selling. I always tell all my young fighters that what kind of product you selling, because we all selling something, you know, and the public's gonna buy the best thing that they can find. With Islam, he does what he does, but to be honest, it's kind of boring, you know. Even if he getting finishes, it's still been boring, and so my whole thing is entertainment, excitement, you know. So he can be championship material, but it's just fucking boring. Nobody wants to see it. Nobody cares. I fall asleep watching his fights. And then it's like, oh, there's the finish. And so they can show a bunch of finishes, which is cool. But it was sleeping, it was boring, it's lackluster. Some of these guys is just a match, you know? It's just about the win. Everybody just wants to win. And that's cool for those guys. That's never been my intentions. I never really cared about winning. I cared about entertaining. I cared about my style. I cared about what type of shit I'm putting out, you know? And if somebody wants to see it. Because a lot of these things nobody wants to see. They will never be watched again. They will never be played again.
That's why I kind of wondered if you hesitated at all or thought it. Because when you think about your style, we think about entertainment, right? And we think about his style. We think about dominant grappling. So was there any part of you that was like, I don't know how I'm going to be entertaining out there. This is going to be, I'm going to have to grind in the clinch and show a lot of, defensive wrestling tactics.
You nailed it on the head, brother. I got a long test ahead of me with these boring guys. And I'm like, I told Jason that too. I'm like, Jason, this guy's fucking boring. Like, what am I going to do with this guy? So that's the real test. It's making somebody boring exciting. How can I do that? Can I do that? Can I pull that one out of my ass? Let me see what I can do. I think I can do it, you know?
He was here earlier. We asked him, if he was expecting you to be talking to him a little bit. And he's like, I'm actually going to be talking to him. He said, maybe Bobby will talk to me on the feet, but when we're on the ground, I'm going to be the one talking, saying, get up, let's go. Where are you at? So do you welcome that? Does somebody kind of give it back to you a little bit? Or does that kind of get under your skin if they do that? What are you expecting?
Nah, I think that's kind of dope, I think it's dope. Yeah, say what you got to say, brother. And nobody holding you back from your words. Say what you say. You are kind of stealing from your big brother, Khabib. That was his shit, so you're jocking his swag. If he wants to talk, let's talk, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. That's all I want to do is make sure that it's fun.
Dig it. Last thing for me, here's the crazy thing, man. You win this fight. I know you just told us recently, you're like, championships don't really matter. You know what I mean? I'm about fighting and getting paid and having fun and being entertained. But you win this fight, all of a sudden people start saying, does he need to be in this title conversation? I mean, he just beat the number one contender. So do you think about that at all? Even though you say titles may not be important, that if I win this, maybe I do start saying, yeah, you know what? Maybe a belt would be nice.
It's the same thing to this day. Ain't nothing changed. My intentions, my goals, my pursuit, I never cared about the title. And if it didn't come or came, it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't be thinking about it. If they want to honor me with that, cool. My thing is, keep the money coming and keep my activity going.
When we were in Houston, you said a lot of what makes you you is the fact that you're the only one who puts your hand up, right? When they call, you put your hand up. Is this fight the perfect example of that? Exactly.
Because they had to give it to 10 other guys. Nobody wanted to put their hand up because everybody was scared. Everybody wants to wait for the perfect opportunity. And that's all I've been doing was, hey, pick me. And here it is. They picked me again. I wish it would have been with more time and more preparation. I'm getting thrown into this, and I'm getting thrown to the wolves, and they want me to see what I got. But it's really dope is that I get to surprise people. You know, I feel like he doesn't respect me. He doesn't understand me either. I don't know if he's been watching, but I know DC is one of his guys, and DC's kind of going to let him know, hey, do this and do this, do this. You know, DC's been paying attention to me. We'll see.
When you talk about this fight, you know, obviously everyone, Islam's going to be so dominant. Like he's the next champ. Does that motivate you? Or like you said, is it, I don't care about him. I just want to put on my show like I always have done.
Bingo. I never really cared about the opponent. As long as they can be a good dance partner, that's really it to me. Was just, hey, if you're gonna bring something exciting to me too, you know, I only care about myself and what I'm doing. I can only control my end of the deal. Your end of the deal, you gotta do your job. I did mine. Like I said the same thing with Nazareth. I felt like he wasn't bringing enough out for us to seal the deal with the fight of the night. I should have got it, you know, but I didn't feel like he brought enough so we can get it.
All right, you use the restroom. I use the restroom. I want to like, if it wasn't for like copyright rules or something, I would play like some Riot of the Valkyries, some big epic like music coming in the segment, but I don't want them to monetize and take this money away. But there are big epic things happening, and now I will give you the floor to drop the news that everybody knew is kind of maybe coming at this point.
Yeah, we've had some hints along the way. It's funny. I like the music choice that you were gonna go. The music choice that was in my head.
Uh-oh.
I was thinking about like
You're a rapper.
No. I was thinking about like a little Green Day or something like.
Okay.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road.
That's not as big as it
Time
should
grabs
be.
you right and misdirects you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a good. Anyway, you know it's.
Which is a good song,
It's
but
something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life.
is that epic enough?
No, but it's that transitionary music. It's the end. It's the end.
From
I
when we
feel
went
like
from puberty to now adulthood.
not that transition. I just feel like, yeah, man. Dude, it's crazy to say it, man. This is my last week at MMA Junkie, man, and you know, we have fun on here and we have good times and we talk shit and whatever else. But that's the honest truth, man. My resignation has been turned in. Saturday will be my last day at MMA Junkie. And it's weird to say it out loud. Ending.
It's crazy to hear it.
Ending a little bit more than a 15-year run at MMA Junkie, man. Started working part-time in 2006. Well, I actually started working for free in 2006. Shout out to the MMA Junkie radio boys. It was the Tag Radio boys.
Tag Radio.
At that time, and shout out to Scott Peterson, man, our crazy friend from MMA Weekly.
We will not do that.
Not that he directly had anything to do with it, but I mean the way that myself and the Tag Radio boys, now MMA Junkie Radio boys, got hooked up was on the MMA Weekly forums.
No shit.
Mean, yeah, which is crazy. So I owe a little bit of where I am today to Scott Peterson and all the crew over at MMA Weekly. So it's crazy, man. Yeah. So a resignation has been turned in. Saturday night will be my last day for MMA Junkie, ending a long run. You know, won't necessarily get into all the details. All the. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, if somebody wants to pull me aside over a frosty beverage one day at a bar, like,
I'm pulling. We have frosty.
Wow, we don't need to get into all that right now. We don't need to get all.
Okay, somebody else.
A lot of
Somebody
people.
else.
Yeah, a lot of people won't really want to hear all the details. But
Won't they?
bottom line is, I think that. You know, I mean, obviously our leadership structure has changed, and you know, of course, Dan Stupp, who I owe a lot to, man, I miss that guy a lot. Who gave me this opportunity. You know, he's been gone since 2018, and I just think the current leadership structure and I did not necessarily see eye to eye on the vision of the website. Certainly on the vision of my own career and where it should go and how it should progress, and it became increasingly difficult behind the scenes to I don't know, to just maneuver on a daily basis. And I just think there's different philosophies and whatever in place, and I'll kind of leave it at that for the time being. It sucks because, man, I mean, you think about it, dude. I mean, more than a third of my life has been spent working with this brand and working with this website, and I'm proud of it. It was actually my mom, of all people, the other day. I was talking to her about what was going on, and she was like, what you got to do is make sure that you're not sad about what you're walking away from, but that you're proud of what you built. And I was like, you know what, man, that's really good advice. Like,
That's a good mom.
It is good. Mama Morgan did good, and I think it was really good advice because it is true. Like, part of me is sad, man. Like,
yeah, of course.
I was the first. I didn't start MMA Junkie, for anybody that doesn't know that. A group of 3 guys, Dan, Tom, and Eric. They started Dan, Tom. That's funny. But Dan and Tom and Eric, they started. Not Dan. Tom is as great of an analyst as he is. He was not around back then. But no, they started it, and I was actually the first employee they hired. And yeah, man, I mean, on the editorial side, it was me and Dan. I mean, for the longest time, it was crazy, man. Like, it was just me and him. So, like, for the first, until we hired Steven Morocco, actually, we wouldn't take vacations because, like, if one of us took off, that meant the other one had to work. So it was like, well, if I take a week off, you now have to work 14 hours a day for 7 days straight. So neither one of us would take vacations because we didn't want to do that to the other one. So, like, occasionally it'd be like, hey, bro, is it cool if, like, I take a third day off this week or whatever? Because we would basically split the days, and then the days that we took off, the other guy was working all day long, and Dan was obviously a grinder, and hopefully I proved myself that same way. So anyway, I mean, just
did you reach out to?
I haven't reached out, and it's been on the top of my mind since I made the decision to reach out to him.
I didn't think about that, but now you probably should.
I probably should, man, and I definitely want to make sure that he knows how much I appreciate not only just giving me an opportunity, but what a great mentor he was in terms of like educating and teaching, and Dan Stupp is a phenomenal editor, man. He really is. So yeah, it's hard to walk away, man. I've spent so much time with this company, but
I wouldn't be if it wasn't for you.
Yeah,
it's funny because when I worked at the UFC, John was always the guy that would get there early and put his shit underneath my tripod, and I'd just be like, "Who the fuck is this?" But then I was like, but I always appreciated your hustle, and I always appreciated the fact when you were always there. Like, I had to be there, but you were always there, and you're always there first. And then we struck up a conversations, and and then you were one of the first media members. Because at first, at the time, I was still just feeling myself out with the UFC. So, like, there were so many. I was always traveling, so I didn't really make it a point to say, like, I would meet lots of media members, but I didn't really make it a point to say, stop, slow down, actually remember the media member that you're
busy doing your own thing.
And you were one of the first, if not maybe the first person where I was like, okay, that's John. I'll remember his name. But I always do remember, I was like, this dude always putting his shit underneath my tripod. So I did remember it. I was like, who is this dude?
I gotta get myself somewhere. Like, bro, since you're right there, you might
you had a good, that was smart. I would do the same thing. But yeah, I mean, for me, I would be remiss to say I would never have this position at Junkie if it wasn't for you.
I appreciate that.
When I left the UFC, you were the first person I called and was just like, "Hey, is there an opening at Junkie?"
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are, however fucking many years,
361
later.
Weeks later.
But even to think about that was that 2015, like February of 2015. So that's now been 7 years. 7 years.
Jesus.
From that point, up to now. It's funny. I've been here way longer than I was at the UFC in a long time, and it was
that's
just
wild to think about.
I know.
I didn't even realize that.
It blows my mind because I talk to the UFC and because a lot of the same UFC people are the same UFC people I worked with back then. But to think that I've been gone longer now talking to these people than I was actually an employee with them, it's crazy. But to think, I mean, like, one, it's not like you're moving away or whatever. Things will still go on, and exciting to hear different changes. But yes, I mean, it's a big change for Junkie. I mean, like, what you were able to, bring to it. It's sad to not think about the fact that loss is going to be gone. But what's, the fact that I can maybe now be up for first question, is welcoming.
Sit your ass down, son. Sit your ass down.
I'm excited to step up, and when Dana comes out and says, "Mr. Hathaway," I said, "Wait, I wasn't ready, Dana. I didn't prep for this."
It's funny, man. It is weird to say, like, because to be honest with you, I honestly thought I would have this same job for the rest of my life. Like, literally, like, this is all I want to do. Like, I don't have aspirations to go cover other sports. I don't have aspirations to do other things. Like, I literally thought I would have this same job for the rest of my life. And then it became apparent to me that wasn't the best way for me to be happy, basically, and for me to be fulfilled. And it's hard, man. Like, it's scary. But as my mom said, I'm going to be proud of what we did, man. We did a lot of cool things, man. We did a lot of cool things.
They can never take that away. I mean, like, Junkie, the fact that, even outside of what Junkie, I fucking hate the MMA awards or whatever. And as much as I've always said that, but to think that the Junkie's up in those, things.
Yeah.
Like, you guys were in. That's a big part of what you guys did. I mean, what Dan started, what you started, what all those cats did. I know we had a part in it as well or whatever, but it's impressive, and that can never be gone. Like, I think many things happen in our life. Career changes happen place to place or whatever. But what's cool about this is that Junkie you'll always be a part of Junkie, and Junkie will always be a part of you, whether or not you're actually still getting a paycheck from Junkie.
Appreciate that.
But Junkie Nation, it's not like Junkie Nation is going to completely be like, oh, well, Mr. Morgan's not here, we're not going to pay attention, or whatever. You've ingratiated yourself with the this lovely family of junkies. Like, if there is a hardcore of hardcore, it's the MMA junkie people, and if there's even an extra hardcore, which are sexier and have big dicks and big tits, it's the people that listen to this show. They're even better, and so they're gonna follow you. It's good. It's sad to see. Me, for a selfish thing, being on the road with you all these years has been one of the best things that I've had. We've had a lot of good memories in a lot of these countries and stuff. I'm glad that that's not ending. We'll just have to find it in different ways. I know you won't be at all the other events that I'm going to, but I'm happy that you're able to try to keep thriving and doing your thing and whatever. But it is sad. This is a big vacuum for Junkie. This is not. I even say, like, as much as I think of myself, it's not like me leaving, which. This is a bigger vacuum. This is a big loss. But in the same sense, I'm happy. I'm happy that whatever keeps you happy. It's the same thing. You think about anything and anybody in any of the careers. Sometimes you gotta do what makes you happy, and you gotta do what's right for you, what's right for your career, whatever. Would I want you to stay Junkie? Obviously, yes. But am I happy that you're happy going and trying to do whatever? Of course, because I wouldn't be a friend if I didn't say that I'm happy for you and support you and what you're doing or whatever. But the best thing for everybody listening to this is the road show will go on. The road show will do its thing. Nothing's changing.
So the question may be, well, how does this impact it? Because I'm sure that's question number one is, how does this impact the MMA road show?
Well, obviously, especially because you're not going to give up your first question, even though I'm going to try to. I'm like, Mr. White. Mr. White, the guy that you usually look over to see John in the press room. That's me. Can I get the first question?
Oh, man. Yeah, so the MMA Roadshow shall go on, as far as we know for now. We think everything will be all right. We think it'll be all right.
What's going on?
I will still be around the space of MMA. I do have something else lined up.
But you're not able to say that
yet. I'm not able to say it yet for a couple of reasons. Number one, still finalizing a couple details here and there. Number two, I am part of a couple other things that are going on. So I think they have some announcements that they want to kind of make simultaneously.
Yeah.
And so I'm not the one to screw that up.
So should people that listen to this be quiet, or should... Because when our listeners, they're very vocal as well. They're going to go online because honestly, anybody that listens to this, when you guys are listening to this, nobody else knows. Nobody else knows. So are you going to ask them? Are you going to ask them to not say anything?
No. Listen, it is what it is. It's already been finalized. So I don't mind people talking about whatever.
Mark Fellows has a big mouth. He's gonna be one of the first ones. If he's not putting Korean barbecue, which I'm so jealous because every picture looks good. he will be first to say something.
He will be first to say something. That's okay, man. No, it's okay. I mean, look, it is what it is at this point. It's. I mean, what's the use of? No, it can only come out on this day. It's just my life. It's what's going on, and it's all been done. And again, the only reason I can't announce the new move is because out of respect to my new organization, they've got some other things going on, and that's their place to announce. I'm excited about it. I think it's. There's only so much I can say, but it's a new opportunity for me. It's a new challenge for me. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be a lot of work. Yeah, it's even more work than I'm doing now. So it's not like I'm chilling or whatever. But I'm excited about it. And if you're a hardcore fan, if you're an old schooler, I think it might speak to you too. I think you might be. I think you might be anxious to hear about it. I think you might be happy to find out the results, which will happen very soon. In fact, I'll actually be. I mean, I'll just say it. I'm gonna next week UFC 272. I will be covering UFC 272 here in Las Vegas for this new outlet. Yeah, so you're not gonna have to wait long to figure out. It's not like, hey man, we got this big reveal set up in 2 weeks. Nah, there's just some things that have to happen behind the scenes.
So are you gonna do like that douchebag move where you stand up, you're gonna be like say your name and say your outlet?
Nah.
Is that gonna be your first move?
You know what's funny is we actually talked about that.
For those that hear this and say that. Yeah, it's a
so I was talking with I was actually talking with my new employers, my new partners about this and about that very thing, like because we were having some discussions about whatever, and anyway, I'll get into that another day. But we talked about it, and I was like, first of all, I was like, you've never actually heard me stand up and say my name and outlet. I was like, I'm like, let's be serious. You know who I am. Like, not to be. I was like, B, the fuck does it matter, dude? Just answer my question. Like, doesn't matter what my name is and where I come from. Just answer the question. You know what I mean?
There was a point in place where I think that was like the standard sort of thing.
To be honest,
but then as a rule, it just became fucking super
cheesy.
Who
cares, man? Who cares? Just answer the question.
You just took 15 seconds of that fighter's life telling your fucking outlet.
Who literally doesn't care?
Who doesn't care?
Who literally doesn't care?
Who's never going to remember.
Yeah, exactly. So I will not.
I'm going to subscribe. Oh, wait, sir. Wait, don't ask your question. What was that again? Let me subscribe
I will not be doing the douchebag move next week. But I will be there next week. So it'll be a new experience. And, yeah, man, hopefully. And obviously next week I'll be able to speak a lot more freely about it and all that. But, yeah, man, it's
So will it still be a blue shirt on Fight Night?
You're damn right it will be. That's for my kid.
You don't have to change it?
That's for my kid.
That's not a junky blue?
Nah, that's for my kid,
I think
man.
it's junky blue, though. You might have to change it.
It became junky blue. Yeah, maybe I have to change a different shade or something. It's funny, man, because that was never for junky blue. It was just it was just the one that my son touched on the TV, and I was like, I'll wear that. It was just a random blue shirt that I was wearing one night, and I was like, I'll wear that.
Blue.
So
now
my son
change it.
Fuck you.
I claim that blue. It's junky blue, dog. You gotta pick a different color.
Oh man. So yeah.
Eli's old enough. Retrain him. Eli, look for the pink shirt.
Pink shirt. Oh man. So yeah, there it is. Dude,
crazy.
It's crazy, man. It's been man. I don't know. I think I was like 28 when I started with Chunky, and now I'm 43, dude. It's like crazy, man. Like putting it like that, but yeah. A little scared, a little nervous, excited. It's we'll see what comes next.
It's big news. It's big news, and I mean it's incredible. I'm excited for you. Because there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, like, and that's the thing. I mean, I know you felt sort of throttled recently. You felt like your avenues to kind of keep growing, and that's all we ever want is just to be able to keep growing and do whatever. So I'm super excited. I'm super hoping that we could figure out a way to transition to something happier than you just leaving before we end this episode.
Patreon.com/MMA Roadshow. It's way more important than ever.
No, we do have something we could talk about.
But is it finalized yet? Can we talk about it yet?
Well, it's enough to say that we're working on it.
Okay, all right.
It's enough to say we're working on it. All right, so I got reached out to by one of the senior VPs at the Wynn Casino.
Oh, we're naming casinos and everything now.
Oh.
Are we just saying a prominent Las Vegas property?
I take.
Okay.
That's me reversing back in time. I don't care. Whatever. A prominent. Now it just sounds like you fucking ruined it. Now I can't even say it. Whatever. The Wynn reached out. I'm just fucking going there. The Win reached out and was like, "Hey, I know that Junkie Radio was at MGM. I don't know if that's exclusive, whatever. But fast forward through a bunch of shit. We have a space here. We have a studio here that we want to see get used more often. Can Junkie Radio come here? Can you guys come here? Can you do something with this?" And we were hoping to do something today. In fact, today we were hoping to be in there recording. Then we're going to have some big news drop, especially for the Patreon folks. And then we were just going to do it quickly, and I was just going to publish a video at the same time, and that would be the video aspect on YouTube. We'll see what happens next week because there's some weird shit that's even happened internally there or whatever. But big news in the sense that hopefully we're going to be introducing that video aspect to the podcast at least more often than, will it become regular? Hopefully. If not, it'll be hopefully something more that we will be working in. But there's this lovely studio. The Win's incorporated millions of dollars into building this thing.
It's a beautiful studio.
It's absolutely incredible.
We were blown away. We went and toured it. Blown away.
It's
absolutely blown
fantastic, and it's right, and it's just off of the casino. One of the hallways that stretches off of it. It's got a big glass opening, so as you're walking through the casino or when you're walking through the resort, you can actually look inside of it, and you can see people actually recording.
You would be able to look at this bottle of legendary Dukes being quickly consumed.
Which is funny is that even though we talked about bringing the alcohol, and they're like, it's good until it's not good. So, as long as we don't get really
we're
crazy
okay with you drinking in the studio until we're not okay with you drinking in the studio.
In the corner,
It could happen.
You're good. If you're willing to show your dong to the people walking by. But hopefully that is going to be one of the things that we're working for. It's been one of these things. We went there, we visited, we had the conversations with them. We thought that we'd be in there today, but there was just some weird shit that we're working out with them and their own internal weird shit that's happening over there. But big things going forward. I mean, it's a big positive. If we can, it's hopefully a space that we use. I feel like the Mandalay Bay and with with COVID kind of really made things weird there. We still have access to the space, but now it's fighting time with other people that have access to the space. This is another possibility to us to have a really good location on the strip to really do some key stuff. I know they're excited. If we can get in there and do the things, I'd love to be bringing USA Today interviews in there, bringing more Junkie interviews there. It's such a fantastic space that if we can get access to it, it would be it's incredible. It's access to $1 million of studio on a prominent location on the strip at no cost to us. It's just for the fact of us being here and being fucking stellar that they reached out. So it's pretty cool. So hopefully that happens. So nobody else knows about it. So hopefully it works or whatever. But we just had to end the show on better notes than thinking of that the time of Junkie's over. But yeah, I don't know. We weren't really going to say anything, but we had to end on something else.
I was going to say, we didn't plan that at all.
I was fucking downer. I was Debbie Downer over here thinking about it because, whatever. The end, it's not the end or whatever. It's funny. We even talked about where the show was going to be really short because we didn't want to have to talk about a lot of shit. So the show ended up running as long as a normal episode or whatever.
I know. I thought we'd go a little short tonight. It's a weird time for me, man. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and
yeah,
it was weird. But man, you get me down and put a few drinks in me and start talking about MMA.
I mean, it's big. It's big. It's big changes, but big good things. Good things in lots of directions.
Hopefully positive things.
Hopefully a lot of positive things going forward, and one of the constant things, if anything, is that the roadshow will always be there.
361 consecutive weeks without fail. Who else does that every damn week without fail? Dude, we're like the post office, even when it's snowing outside.
Oh, the post office fucking takes days off. Fuck the post office. I'm just kidding. If you work for the post office, I absolutely love
appreciate
you
your organization. Thank you for sending us
but
packages.
y'all motherfuckers take days off. Y'all take weeks off.
All right, next week, man, we'll talk about the new chapters. All will be revealed, and we can talk a little bit more freely. And we'll do it then. And like I said, if you run into me and you want to grab a few frosty beverages, I'll be happy to give you all the details. In the meantime, I'll just tell you, thanks for listening. We'll be right back.